The morning drizzle clung to the streets of London, wrapping the city in its usual misty veil. Inside the prestige Kensington Hotel, one of the capital's most exclusive five-star establishments, the marble lobby gleamed like a palace. Guests in tailored suits and designer dresses streamed through the revolving doors, their chatter echoing off the high, gilded ceilings. In the midst of this opulence, Naomi Clark moved silently, mop and bucket in hand. At 31, she had worked here for nearly 7 years, scrubbing floors, polishing brass, and tidying the messes of people who never looked her in the eye. To them, she was invisible, just another member of the cleaning staff. But beneath the navy uniform and sensible shoes lay something no one in this hotel had bothered to see. A linguistic genius with a degree from King's College London and fluency in 7 languages. She had applied for dozens of positions in administration, guest relations, and international liaison. Each time, she was told the same thing: "We'll keep your CV on file." Each time, nothing happened. That day, as Naomi polished the intricate patterns on the marble floor, her mobile phone buzzed in her pocket. She froze. Not now, she thought. Manager Ms. Hargreaves had a rule: no personal phones during shift, especially in the lobby. It was the first thing she barked at new cleaners. But when Naomi glanced at the caller ID, her heart jumped. The University of Amsterdam. She had applied to their prestigious master's program in linguistics 6 times. Each rejection had felt like a door slamming in her face. But she had sent one final application 2 months ago. This could be it. Naomi ducked behind a marble column, shielding herself from guests' view. Her fingers trembled as she swiped to answer. "Hello, Naomi Clark," she said softly. The voice on the other end was crisp, Dutch, and formal.
Mevrouw Clark, met professor van der Keulen van de Universiteit van Amsterdam. Heeft u even tijd?
Without missing a beat, Naomi switched to fluent Dutch, her pronunciation sharp and natural. They began discussing the details of her application, the recommendation letters, the motivation statement, the possibility of funding. As she explained a delay in her supporting documents, Naomi noticed the sudden silence in the lobby. She turned and found herself face-to-face with Edward Lancaster, the billionaire owner of the prestige Kensington chain. Standing beside him was Ms. Hargreaves, her eyes narrowing like a hawk spotting prey. Naomi's throat tightened. She ended the call quickly.
Ik bel later terug.
"Thank you, WL," she whispered, slipping the phone into her pocket. "Clark, my office. Now." Ms. Hargreaves's voice cut through the air like a blade. "Ms. Hargreaves. And Mr. Cormack, Director of Operations." Lancaster raised an eyebrow. Mr. Cormack constantly complained about the lack of multilingual staff. His jaw tightened. He had suspected discrimination in his UK hotels for months. 3 months earlier, he had quietly hired a consulting firm to investigate high turnover rates among non-white employees. "Tomorrow, we're hosting a Dutch-Chinese trade summit," Lancaster said. "I need someone who speaks both Dutch and Mandarin fluently, understands cultural etiquette, and can mediate high-level conversations." Naomi's chest tightened. "Do you want me to clean their rooms?" A rare smile crossed his face. "No, I want you to coordinate international relations for the summit. Starting today. Temporary role. £5,000 a week." Naomi nearly dropped her bag. £5,000 a week. More than she made in 3 months. "But why me?" "Because I heard you speak Dutch like a native. Because you have the qualifications I need. And because I think something is very wrong in this hotel." Within an hour, Naomi had a new ID badge giving her full access to executive areas. As she walked through the lobby, she ran into Ms. Hargreaves. The manager's face drained of color. "Clark, what are you doing here without your uniform?" "Ms. Clark, International Relations Coordinator." "At Mr. Lancaster's request." "Impossible. You're not qualified. King's College London. Fluent in 7 languages. My CV has been in the hotel system for 7 years, along with 49 transfer requests," Naomi said calmly before walking away. In the HR office, Naomi met Layla, a newly hired recruitment analyst. Layla had noticed Naomi's file months ago, and couldn't understand why someone with her profile was stuck in housekeeping. I tried raising it with Cormac, Layla whispered. He shut me down. As Naomi prepared for the summit, she noticed something alarming. The Mandarin translations in the official documents contained serious cultural errors, the kind that could offend delegates and derail negotiations. She corrected the documents swiftly. Lancaster appeared behind her silently. How did you catch that? The translator used terms inappropriate for formal business. Whoever did this knows basic Mandarin, not cultural nuance. Cormac swore he hired the best. Cost us a fortune. He hired someone without proper credentials, Naomi replied, showing him one glaring error in a partnership proposal. The next day, Naomi moved through the trade summit like a conductor, switching between Dutch and Mandarin with flawless precision. She guided conversations, smoothed misunderstandings, and impressed delegates who were used to stiff intermediaries. During lunch, a Dutch businessman approached her. Wait, aren't you the Naomi Clark who wrote the paper on linguistic diplomacy in the Journal of Applied Linguistics? Naomi's eyes widened. Yes, I am. I cited your work in Rotterdam last year, he exclaimed, calling colleagues over. You're brilliant. Across the room, Cormac watched, pale. He had never even bothered to read her CV. Naomi wasn't just helping. She was unraveling something bigger. She had discovered that Cormac's niece owned the translation company the hotel hired. She charged triple the market rate for subpar translations. The same errors appeared in every contract. On the fourth day, Naomi caught Cormac leading his niece into the executive lift with a final translation folder, containing the same critical mistakes. She hurried to Lancaster's office with proof, screenshots, emails, and payment records. Lancaster's face hardened. Are you absolutely sure? I have everything. Years of inflated payments. Systematic rejection of qualified non-white candidates. Moments later, Layla from HR burst in with a folder. Hiring records. 5 years. Clear pattern of discrimination, especially against black women. When Cormac barged into the office moments later, accusing Naomi of mixing up translations, Lancaster shut the door slowly behind him. His voice was like steel. Thomas, I have payment records showing £50,000 contracts for incompetent work while qualified employees clean bathrooms. Explain. Cormac stammered. Naomi dropped another bomb. His niece's Mandarin certificate was fake. She had confirmed it with the university in Beijing. That afternoon, Lancaster called an emergency board meeting. All department heads, managers, and international delegates gathered in the grand ballroom. Lancaster took the stage, Naomi by his side. Today, he announced gravely, we uncovered a systemic pattern of discrimination and nepotism that has cost this company millions. Employees like Ms. Naomi Clark, fluent in 7 languages and published internationally, were relegated to cleaning floors, while unqualified relatives secured lucrative contracts. Gasps rippled through the room as a presentation showed charts of hiring biases, inflated translation contracts, and ignored transfer applications. As of today, Thomas Cormac is terminated for gross misconduct. Ms. Hargreaves is suspended pending investigation. And Naomi Clark will become our Director of Global Communications, effective immediately. The room erupted in applause. The cleaning staff, watching from the back, stood with tears streaming down their faces. Cormac was escorted out by security, his face twisted in fury. As he passed Naomi, he hissed, "You won't last a month." Naomi only smiled. Her blazer pocket contained a recorder with every threat he'd muttered during the investigation. 6 months later, Naomi's office on the 28th floor overlooked London's skyline. A plaque on her oak door read, her Invisible Talent Program, launched after the scandal, identified over 120 overlooked employees across the chain with skills in languages, finance, and management, most of them black, Asian, or immigrant workers stuck in invisible roles. Translation costs dropped by 80%. Guest satisfaction soared. Ms. Hargreaves now managed a small laundry department in a low-tier hotel in Manchester. Cormac was blacklisted from the industry. His niece, forced to repay her fees, was ironically studying real Mandarin on a scholarship from Naomi's new foundation. In her closing speech at the annual company conference, Naomi said, "For decades, talent has been buried beneath service uniforms, overlooked because of skin color, accents, or assumptions. But talent doesn't disappear. It waits. And when the door finally opens, it reshapes the future." As applause thundered through the hall, Naomi thought back to that day in the lobby, the day she had simply answered a call in Dutch. What seemed like a punishment had become the catalyst for a revolution.